Were you doing mining, illegal mining, before you joined politics in 2014?
Paul, as you have already asked me, mining is something I have benefited, and I was having a company called Hansol Mining.
Hansol?
Hansol, Hansol.
Hansol, yeah.
Hansol Mining.
Yeah.
You know, I was the owner. That time, if you check the PMMC, you will see that I was the only Ghanaian company who was competing with Anglo Gold, BGL, Nemo Ghana, and stuff. I was making nobody at that time. So unfortunately, one day I was there, then I had a call that President Mahama is calling me. So I went.
Which year was this?
Was 2013.
President Mahama was president.
President Mahama was the president. Okay. So I had a call that President Mahama is calling me to Castle. That time he was in the Castle. So I
Vice President Mahama or President Mahama?
Because
President Mahama really never operated from the Castle. He started from Jubilee House.
No, you don't know. That
okay,
time,
he was in the Castle, okay.
He was in the Castle.
2013, early, okay.
Yes, early 2013. I know. The time
Prof died.
Yeah, Prof died, you know. Then he was there before he moved to
the Jubilee House. Yeah.
To the Jubilee House. So he called. Then he said that...
so you met him?
I met him. That I was busy because I was going to I was going to see my workers and how they was. So you
didn't come to Accra to see him?
I didn't. I said to him, "You just call me." So
you mean he spoke to you directly on the phone?
No, he let somebody called me, you know, and I said to him, "Please, kindly tell him." So I was shocked. I said, "Me, President Mahama, want to talk to me?" About what? He said, yes, you are invited to the Castle to meet him. Then he gave the time, blah, blah, blah. And I said, but now I'm on the way to my workplace, my company, Summer Boy. So the place I am, I cannot come. Then he said, okay, can I talk? Wait.
Hold on.
Hold on. Then I hold. Then he said that if you don't come on Friday, then you have to meet the president on Sunday in Tamale. And I say, okay. So in Tamale, I took one of airline, then I flew to Tamale. Then I saw him. The time I reached there, all my company documents and everything was there.
Was in front of the president?
It's in front of him. You know, so that type of relative was there. And there was a guy.
Beblo Latte, then National Security Coordinator.
Yes, was there. And then his brother.
Which brother?
Peter Mahama was there.
Peter, yeah.
And the one they look alike, Alfred,
yeah.
Alfred Mahama was there. And some few people was there. Then he asked me, young man, how did you get all this money? I have all your documents. And I said,
how did you get all this money?
Yeah. Because all my documents. So he said, tell me the truth. And I said, I have nothing to hide. You know, for you to be small or big, you know, you have to work. So my work, the job that I do is a mining. I have a legitimate concession called Hansol and Akunta Mining. So this is my document, and I have expatriates that they also work for me, and yeah. So he started opening. So he asked me, okay, tell me about mining. So I told him mining is not a bad thing. Every country need a mining. If you have a resources, you need it to develop here, but you have to regularize it or make a good policy for it. But to me, I have a legitimate lances they have signed for me. This is my lances. So he see everything through. Then he said, oh, this guy, you are too smart. Because that time I was making about $1 million a day. So if you
Say
go
that
to...
again. I don't believe that. That's why I said you said
Go
it.
to PMMC.
You're making $1 million a day
yes,
from mining.
From mining.
So what you do? You put the gold and you sell it abroad through PMMC?
No. What the money that you send, the money have to come back. That the money you send, the money will have to
send the money to where?
If you send the gold.
You send the gold, yes, and then
the money have to come back.
Yes.
So I told him that, Mr. President, do you understand about inflation? Do you understand it? We are the people. We are the kingpin of the inflation.
Okay. So the point you're making is that the miners are the core people who determine inflation.
The business people.
Yes. Whether inflation is going to be high or low.
So
is determined by these people.
Yes, because of the money I'm making. If you touch me, the Ghana economy will hit. So he touched me on the June 2013 June.
How did this conversation end before he touched you? This tamale conversation, how did it end?
He told me that, young man, you are too intelligent. I want you to come to NDC to support me. And then I said to him...
You're speaking on the national platform. President Mahama
I'm saying
may be listening or his people are listening.
Listen, the time
I have to be sure that what you are saying is correct.
I will never lie. One to me will never lie. And he knows. The time I went there, I went there with, now he's a Bosonchi MPP chairman. He was following me that time. Anywhere I go, he's the person. So I went there with him.
Where in Tamale did this meeting happen?
Residency.
Oh, the original minister's residence.
Yes, the residency. That's the place.
That's why usually the presidents go when they go to Tamale.
Yeah. No, he cannot say he didn't meet me. He cannot.
No, but did he tell you that you should come and support the NDC?
Oh, yes, of course. It's normal. It's normal to tell the businessman if he have money, to say, come and support me.
Okay.
So
what did you say to that before the meeting ended?
I said to him, to me, I see politics as a religion. The place I come from, even if you have money, even if you have power and you have money and you don't belong to MPP, it's very dangerous. So to me, Mr. President, I don't want to say. And that time when I look at my pocket, I have money, so I'm brave, to tell him that no. So after that...
the conversation ended how? Yes, after that?
It ended like, okay, still. The way... So he asked me, how can I employ everybody?
How can you, Chairman, want to...
No, how can...
He, President Mahama, employ everybody?
For Ghanaians to
benefit from this mining.
Yeah, how can we also stop the galamsey? Then I told...
he raised galamsey with you at that time?
Yes, he said galamsey, and I said, I'm not galamsey. He said... They brought the letter that you are Galamsey. And I said, no, I'm not Galamsey. This is my document. And check from your people. That is it, Mark Hammer.
Mike Hammer,
yeah,
the minister.
Who signed my document. And I said, listen, this is your minister. So call him to find out. So, no, I'm not Galamsey. Because the people don't know. That is why they are. It's a large scale, the same as Anglo Gold. And Mr. President,
you are a large scale.
I was large scale. I'm always a large scale.
Okay.
Even now, I have something called lithium and stuff. I have 9 large scale companies in Ghana, but I just don't.
Let's come back to how the conversation ended. So he said what? Employment. He was talking about employment.
Yeah. So I said to him, immediately you touch me.
When did he say he was going to touch you?
Yes.
You said he was talking about employment.
They said they brought you for me to stop you.
That you are Galamsey.
Yes. This is exactly this. They said they brought you for me to stop you. So convince me. And I said, Mr. President, if you touch me, immediately you touch me, I have about 5,000 workers to 6,000 immediately. I will go home and I won't do anything. And also it will affect the people. Precisely, the GDP we are talking about, and it will hit the
inflation.
The inflation will hit it. And then he said that, you sure? And I said, but the government having opened a company before, ever since for Kwame Nkrumah time. Just name it. I just want to see. And then said, you are very courageous, so I will meet you again. I will set a meeting for you to explain the mining for them to see. And I say, okay. So he sent the people to come and meet me.
So this is how the meeting ended?
Yeah, this is how.
That he reconvened another meeting.
Yes.
And then
so he convened. So that time, Nusa Fuseni was a
minister.
Was a minister. Then I had a call from one of his allies that they are going to attack your companies. So I called Nusa Fuseni. And I said, Mr. Minister, this is the information I'm having, that the president is sending some people to go and attack my company. Please, I'm begging you. I'm begging you. That time, Paul, that is, you know, when I was a child, like 17 years, my mom died when I was 17. That time, my mom was 38 years when he died. You know, next year's about 25 years, something like that. And when I say, when you ask me what is your bad day, is the day my mom died and the day former President Mahama destroyed my company. You know, he took my company like a Rambo-style. You know, I was having about 500 excavators. They seized it.
500 is an interesting figure these days.
Yes.
500 excavators.
Yes, they seized it because...
So when you got the call, that's to get the storyline well, when you got the call from, and you called Nusa Fuseni.
I called Nusa Fuseni.
And told him that you have heard they want to attack you.
Yes.
What did he say? Did he assure you that is not true?
He said that no matter what happens, we will try to protect you. So don't worry.
Okay, that's what the minister said.
Yes, yeah. This is what he said.
Yeah. See me, I'm street and I'm so, look, I'm so bad. Yeah. When he did that thing, I didn't respond. I just left him. Then on Monday, and Paul, listen carefully, I started waste management must be decentralized. Because it is Zuma who owns Metro TV. So if you use Metro TV to do that one. And after he did all of that, I started waste management must be decentralized because I wanted to attack his boss, Zoom Lion. And I spent time. You see where all the youth employment issues are going? Yeah, me, I will have time. Me, I will deal with you. His boss called me. Look, Zoom Lion, he called me so many times I was not picking his phone. He called me. Everybody in this country was calling me. Zoom Lion wants to talk to you. I was not picking. And Paul, ask your boss that at the time he met me, what happened? Me, I won't sue you for defamation by your boss. You see, I've stopped the waste management. You see, I've stopped. Because his boss paid me for his misbehavior on Metro TV. Your boss paid me.
How much? Because the way you're saying paid,
yeah,
like
good money to stop writing about him on social media. I'm telling you, this is Kwame A+. Me, I'm a brutal guy.
I am truly disappointed. A+ is a brethren of mine. I don't know how to handle this, but I will handle it. I am utterly disappointed. This guy is nothing but a blackmailer. A dirty blackmailer. Jesus. So you are no longer fighting for the people, you are fighting your own battles, blackmailing people. Hi. So the decentralization of the waste management team that he was talking about, he did not mean it. He was only doing it to blackmail a certain guy who he knew will finally run back to him, pay him money, which he will selfishly push into his pocket and forget. You are blackmailing people so that you will get a certain attention. This guy does not deserve to be an MP. Nobody deserves to be an MP, my brother, my sister, if their pension is blackmail. Paul, I don't actually hurt you. You were angry. As a lawmaker who believes in the law, what should you do? You are in parliament to make laws for the people. You decide to be unlawful, to go out there and fight your battle on the streets by blackmailing somebody's business. Now the person comes to you and pays you. You are not even ashamed of taking the money. This is a bribe taker who, my brother, my sister, should be impeached immediately from parliament. I'm disappointed in A+. I'm truly disappointed. No, we can't allow this. If an MP, my brother, my sister, can tell you that he was on a certain agenda, and the agenda was not supposed to benefit the people of Ghana, but himself, he became unlawful so that he would be able to get his own back. I hope you know what that means. I am most disappointed. In fact, I am so disappointed. Maybe I need to write to the Speaker of Parliament and draw his attention to this publication. I'm waiting for the day that I'll be told that it is a fake publication, it's not true, and that A+ didn't say this. Then I'll say, yes, bro, I knew you would not say this.
Cratchy, unemu bua unkoisha Dr. Ban uye denwa.
Oh, Missy Yanfan come and me buru.
Mami do buru. Ni atele be ko. Bra, mumi mfani ko Dr. Ban ho.
Dr. Ban o ya de.
Bra, se banu no mpemu adwuma sasabro slow Dr. Ban o ye.
So ni kemi kwa na meka. Oh no mpemu nim di ono na ye expect nya zanfo no. O akra eni kumasi no mpemu expect yen kan kire.
Introducing Betway's Bet Influencer, a groundbreaking feature where you can make money by just sharing codes. He just needs to share his codes and make money. The more his codes are used, the more money he makes. Oh yes, so what are you waiting for? Anyone can be a bet influencer. Share your codes and make money. Bet Influencer, another world first from Betway.
This advert has been approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Betway, get way more.
Hello, my friends. My name is Kelkit Toothpaste.
Wow.
I was made to be gentle on your gum, but protected. I will protect your teeth from cavity, make your teeth whiter, stronger, keep your mouth fresh all day. And best of all, I'm strawberry flavored. So put on a smile and try me.
That's amazing.
Just try me. That's my job.
If you say so, jump on my brush. Makes your teeth stronger, chicky chicky whiter, chicky chicky stronger. Yay! You did it!
I'm glad you like your new toothpaste. Don't forget to brush both day and night.
Kelkits, happy smile.
After this fufu and pepper soup, I go score goals like them the dash points.
Kivo 100% natural hot pepper. Good for your jollof, stew, soup, shito, spaghetti, and noodles. Kivo hot pepper. Moko show.
I'm a match winner, but the real champion is Kivo 100% natural hot pepper. Champion taste.
This advert is FDA approved.
Smart, smooth, interactive, and a built-in Android active panel. made for modern work and home. For corporate clients and university students, enjoy top quality 10th generation Toshiba laptops built for performance, power, clarity, and speed, all in one desktop. At Mycom JA Computers, get a laptop for as low as 1,000 Ghana cedis. All products are imported from the USA with a 1-year warranty. Visit Mycom JA Computers today and elevate your tech.
Playing for your country, easy. Scoring, easy. Avoiding injuries, easy. Winning, easy. But you know what be easy now? Kivo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Easy. It gets everything inside. Gary, creamer, sugar, roasted granules. Just add water, then sharp my soakings make ready. Taste and energy, made easy. I'm a match winner, but the real champion is Kivo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Champion taste.
This advert is FDA approved.
Yes, next. Hey, Nadia Benson, Asamo.
Me didn't tum. Mr. Friend, Calico, just call me cockroach. Now, Mr. Friend, me once now. Hey, that's you. Improve car. Yeah. Captain was key to double the action. Me did it, Sasso spray. Mr. Friend is Sasso quell. Yeah, go to my Sasso.
Come tum preko.
Buy affordable service plots and lands from estate masters. Currently selling our next cottage, located at the newly proposed airport city, with a starting price of 25,000 Ghana cedis. We also have Park Hills, located at Panfukuro in the Gomwa East District, also with a starting price of 15,000 Ghana cedis. Available also is Coastal Park in Lakpleku, which is a 15-minute drive from the Ngo Senior High School, having a starting price of 55,000 Ghana cedis. You will receive a free site plan with indenture once you successfully purchase a land from us. For any enquiries, contact the numbers provided. Estate Masters, your most preferred estate partner.
This meeting happened?
The residency.
Oh, the residency.
Kwabna Minta Akando, Health Minister Ghana. And then who news say, who catch registered nurses and midwives for say, their demand no, there is no space in the budget for it. Gross disrespect. I didn't hear. More win election December, more court transition. To the previous government, everything that was happening under them. Timu who say no money registered nurses and midwives for no agreement, even though we implementing. And who say the agreement is favorable to more mobile power now. I was saying money registered nurses renegotiate and some are ready budget. But Esan say mun respected the nurses in Tino. Mun ready budget and I'm too or demand in and then when your guts catch wrong, we say there is no space in the budget for them. Until the retired nurses and the midwives, retired nurses and midwives, Kwabna Minta Akando, were disrespected the profession of nurses and the midwives of Ghana, including the president John Dramani Mahama. because 1st July, Oma Tiska, say National Day of Prayer. Omo organizing a so far cromfono. Abe now some bompire magana. Because said be almost started some bompire magana. Then it's Ghana. Everyday corruption. You see, about time, Aquaman Probi Hospital. Nurses in Yonti Apama Muso Munkufi. Mupasam we nan kofu and Sana Mabeka say, Ghana nurses near Badayo Mutrimu Yadin say any. Oh, as a health minister, Obi our friend who say educated, classroom educated. Also Munyansa won. Now Katron say Yapamucho. Mu demand no. Previous government then Ejitumba won't implement it. Yes, you are buying economy in Entina, young financial budget and buy a pamucho. Mu demand no. Mama next year, ye be yamam. At least can who try to finance a cartoon not trying to. Now Baba Katron said there is no space in the budget. Unim so a church of nurses. His Excellency John Romani Mama. Adia health minister when one nurses for Nkasa. Nasa omudima no kota krana obinyamo manyamo. Mamu nyana disaster and sigana nankrofun ansan. Mamu nyana nankrofun once and mabeka na mabeye say nurses leaders ni forget about the politics. Lives are at stake. Ti moon to me meet demands in the crowd. Moon to me meet a little. Fanny said, treating nurse for demand and say a national disaster NAC. Mobile allocate emergency funds for it. Now more allocate the funds to the nurses. No more go back to Ejuma. Now life in Kroful lose my life. Ewo munsim. Kwamna Mintakando apologize for asemna okayano a disrespect to nurses. Ghana nurse, my sorry why? Said that me can't say yampamu. Mukwa mama meeting with demands.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to the show. It's 34 minutes past 9 o'clock. It's always an amazing pleasure to have you on the show. Tonight, I'm very tired because I've been in Kumasi all day. I've been in the Ashanti Regional Capital all day, sharing the morning platform with some people. A lady, the mother of Nana Atapoku passed, and this was the 1 week celebration, so I was there. Tonight, we have a lot of legal issues to look at because Justice Remsai has spoken to Joy for a beautiful interview. Yesterday, I was around. You know, when I don't have TV, I'm always watching TV. So on Wednesday night and Monday night, I'm swinging between Bernard Avle's show on City TV, Channel 1 TV now, and Point of View, he calls it. And yesterday, he was doing something about the guy who was in jail, the Greg Afoko people, somebody, Atai, somebody who had been in jail for a long time. And then on Joy FM, Joy TV, they have another program. Why do I always forget that? Well, it used to be Evans Mensah's program, but Evans does other people do it. So I was watching that one. And one of the guys sent me a text. One of our people here sent me a text. And I said, boss, are you watching your man? I said, who? He says, Remsai. Then I responded, brutal. I really enjoyed the interview. Very, very good interview. Evans Mensah is always great at these things. But then Remsai said something that worried me. And that will be the subject of our first discussion on the touch screen, because I think that we need to put the political, legal history of Ghana in proper context. And he said that the appointees, in response to a question, he said this massing up is only isolated because they are dealing with so many of the former appointees. And a lot of them come in quietly and go quietly, and they don't make noise on media, and they don't mass up. Evans Mensah, who's conducting the interview, then confirms that actually Dr. Matthew Poku Prempeh said that he had been to NIB and nobody knew that. Well, for the information, everybody who needs to know knew. All the people who know Matthew Poku Prempeh knew that he's at NIB. Most of the members of parliament were aware, his party were aware, but that's not even the point. Later on tonight, I'll be showing why Remsai is blatantly wrong when he says that some people make noise and they mass up. I'm going to show him in the political legal history what actually occasions the massing up, because it happens under MPP and it happens under NDC. And tonight we have videos from 2001, the trial of Tsikata, and we'll share all that with you so that we can put the matter in context. On social media, some of the NDC people who don't like me were frustrated that I'm even going to talk about something Remsai has said. I think they all liked the interview from yesterday. I liked it too. And they thought that Remsai is flying high and I shouldn't bring my demonic activity to come and change anything. It's not demonic activity, it's just setting the record straight, okay? All right, so we'll be doing that. And then also, Kwabena Edubuahe is big on our agenda today because we have a mountain of documents to share with you. Now, finally, the prosecution have brought in the witness statements. Edubuahe's lawyers have spoken about the witness statements, but did we not hear that Edubuahe, the SREM side again said Edubuahe has not declared his assets? We are not too sure what is the import of that, whether that is going to make the prosecution's case stronger if he hasn't declared his assets, or what that means. But we're going to get into details of that and many more, talking about Edubuahe's cars and houses, and what kind of nexus it has with the case of the prosecution in terms of how the so-called 49 million Ghana cedis was dissipated. We have a lot to say about that as well. And then still on the Attorney General, he's published a flyer that indicates that he has a press conference tomorrow at 11 o'clock. And he will be talking about Oral, the cases of Oral. Shrem side told Evans Mensah that whilst at Oral, they identified 33 cases, whistleblowers have pushed the Oral agenda to 50 cases, adding a significant number because people are volunteering information about corruption. That's what Sremsai said. He went further to say that MPP people are telling on each other about the corruption that they all conducted. He went further to say that in the case of the National Service, they are doing plea bargaining. And I've noticed that in all the Attorney General's press conferences, this issue of plea bargaining seems to be very, very important to them and to him. I'm wondering whether plea bargaining is now going to be forced down the throats of accused persons, or as it is, plea bargaining should be an option that accused persons should offer that I want to do plea bargaining. It appears here that a plea bargaining is being used as a carrot and a stick by the Office of the Prosecution. We'll get into all of that. Richard Delasky from Hard Law has penned an interesting article about the Attorney General's regular press conferences, and we're going to read that to you. Those are his words, and we largely associate with most of the things that he said. All right. So that's a big agenda today. Tanko Computer is also on the agenda. We'll get there. We'll get there in a bit. Let's start our show right now and welcome aboard. Thank you very much, all of you, for tuning in. It's a Thursday, so we're going to have a good time. Okay. Welcome to everyone on the table, to this, to that, to this, and also to that. Show has started. Court Rise. Earlier today, I was at the event of Mrs. Elizabeth Ajiman, Nana Ejewa. She is popularly called, born in 1951 and unfortunately passed in 2025. Why is that important to all of us who didn't even know her at a personal level? Because she birthed a son, Nana Atapoku, an old Akura, and also the director of urban roads in Kumasi, engineer Atapoku, they call him. Atapoku is a civil engineer, and you will see him around Otufo's entourage all the time. Atapoku's father is Nana Kwesi Agyemang. That is the husband of Nana Ejewa. Nana Kwesi Agyemang is a famous mayor of Kumasi. For those of you who are not too old, they used to call him Okumkom. He was mayor of Kumasi in the second term of the Rawlings administration from around 1996 up until 2000. He was a famous mayor. He was known for his brutish, no-nonsense attitude in Kumasi, and he was a big sanitation person. He was a stickler for cleanliness and sanitation in the Ashanti region. Kwesi Agyemang was also a big supporter, of course, of Kumasi Asante Kotoko, and that's how my relationship with him got to be. In 1999, and we'll go to Kumasi, and he'll gladly host us young men in his home. The mayor's residence in Kumasi is very magnificent, for those of you who have been there before. And Kwesi Agyemang will gladly host us in his home. And sometimes I've gone out to Kumasi to conduct interviews with him. I believe myself and Carlos von Brazzi, as news reporters, traveled to Kumasi to conduct interviews with Nana Kwesi Agyemang. He became an enigma sometime around 1999. And so it was an important interview for any journalist at the time to get opportunity to sit with Nana Kwesi Agyemang and talk to him. He's the legendary husband of Nana Ejewa. Kwesi Agyemang unfortunately passed a few weeks ago. And of course, if you talk about Kwesi Agyemang without talking about the race for the Asante stool in 1998, then the story is incomplete. Kwesi Agyemang was a big factor in who became Asante Hene after Opoku passed. If you read Kojo Anker's book, he has a full section on that as well. If you read our book as well, you'll see there. Kwesi Agyemang really left his punctuation in Ashanti and national politics. This is his wife who has also passed. And this morning and afternoon up to the evening, there was a one-week ceremony held in her honor in the Kumasi at Misha Extension, where I was. So I arrived there beautifully to this young man. I was quite embarrassed when they mentioned my name, that Paul Adumochi, oh yeah, good evening, Ghana, wabaha, or shat ade tuntum any smoke, ofi kwamu, waba, or see ade atoneni, or bestiane this year, and atapuku, enti Paul Adumochi na abano. I was like, eesh. Anyway, so that's what happened. I was being signaled. Abu Jinapo, the former minister for lands, the Honorable Abu Jinapo, member of parliament for Damago, was urging me that I should be signaling the boy something. I shouldn't just stand there and the guy is dancing like that. And they were laughing at me that what's not cry, etc., etc. But I had a great time. And so this is the arrival of Nana Bafo, the Asante Hinis Chame, who came in also to greet Atapoku. Here am I, after a long day, enjoying the pineapple juice. This is one of my friends I met. He said he's an ardent viewer of the show, and he hung around me for quite a bit. Here again, I think I look quite sorrowful here because I was looking at the event and feeling sad for a young man who's lost his mother. It was very, very painful at the time. And so here I met John Ajekum Kufuor, the former president, who was right there. He was sitting by his brother, Kwame Addo-Kufuor. You see as other photographs. And then later on, this photograph is much later. After I greeted, I took my seat on the dais, sitting next to the legendary Leon Apenteng, former board chairman of Temal Refinery. Leon has been a good friend of mine for many, many years. So I took a seat next to Leon. Here, because I like the food, I went to speak to the food vendor. And she was explaining to me how she put this beautiful piece together. That Chuma was amazing. You know, a young man is still with me. Very, very interesting guy. There, I was still doing some handshakes. This is Atapoku, who's lost his mother. Nana Atapoku, sorry, really sorry to you. But this was a good event. It showed and demonstrated your connection with all facets of Ghana. NDC was there, MPP was there, Northerners were there, Ashantis were there, Nzimas were there. Atapoku, you've done very well. Engineer Atapoku, he lost his mother. We were getting ready for the main funeral. This was the days that had the chief mourners. You can see the unmistakable figure of Dr. Matthew Poku Prempe Napo. You can see Abu Jinapo, another important person. All of them on the day's mourning with Atapoku. Here we were in the queue to go and shake hands with the family, and we did all that. When I finished with the young man, they asked me to do some dancing, and I think that's here I'm sharing a good point with Leon Apenteng and myself. We had such a good time today, viewers. It was an amazing, amazing time. We had real good time in Kumasi today. And it reminded me of something when we're going. Oh, is that all? Oh, there's a handshake with John Kufuor. You don't have it? Oh, okay. All right. Okay. We'll take. Oh, sorry. We'll take that photograph a bit later. Oh, Kobe, there's a handshake with President Kufuor. You didn't get it. All right. Okay. So that's how the day ended. That's how the day ended over there. So we came back to Accra early this evening to get ready for the show. Now this is happening tomorrow morning. So if you wake up early, tune into Good Evening Ghana official's Facebook page because at 7 o'clock I'll be live on Radio Universe, my alma mater. Radio Universe is this week celebrating Alhaji Siddiq, and Alhaji Siddiq also was my boss at Radio Universe. I worked there for about 2 weeks just before I got snapped to Choice FM. So tomorrow morning is an interview with political author and broadcast journalist Paul Adumochi on his debut book, 77 Stories That Shaped Ghana's Fourth Republic. And it will be hosted by George Boateng Jumfo, and that's Friday 13 June, 7 to 9 a.m. It will be live on our social media page, Good Evening Ghana Official. I'll be at Legon. After that, I'll be at the University of Ghana bookshop. I'll be hanging around Legon for a bit. I'll go to Commonwealth Hall, of course, to go and just get the vibes a little bit. And then I'll go to Legon Hall as well. And I'll be on campus until about sometime in the afternoon. So that's coming up tomorrow. We can look out for that. Okay, so let's get on to the matters now. Good evening, Deputy Attorney General. Fantastic presentation on the Joy interview yesterday. I think it was good. The sense of transparency was great. Opening your doors to the media was fantastic. We know that Dominic Aini has been doing the press conferences, but here you did a sit-down interview with Joy FM. I think that was excellent, and we should continue like that. That is Justice Sremsai, PhD. And I mean it, PhD. Justice Sremsai, PhD. PhD given by Akufo-Addo. Let me just, for what it's worth. It was given by the Scholarship Secretariat under Kingsley Osei Ajimine, who is now Member of Parliament for Buakwa South. And they knew that Sremsai was an NDC person, but his documents show that he was brilliant, he deserved it. And so he has a PhD given to him by Akufo-Addo. You can call it however you want to call it. Anyway, so let's see the interview first, and then I'll come to the analysis. Not the whole interview, just a part of it where he's talking about appointees, etc., etc. And on our flyer, there's been a lot of quarrel with NDC people about the flyer because we said that we're going to, that Sremsai said something that demonstrated the paucity of his acquaintance with political legal history. And so people thought that we were going to fight with him, etc., etc. They were fighting with us. Don't worry about that. By the time we finish, you see what we mean. So let's see the first, what Sremsai said in that matter, and then we'll come and discuss it. Have a look at the video.
You would, I respect, not that I respect, but I appreciate the demeanor of a lot of the government appointees. Once in a while, you hear that someone has been picked up or someone has been invited in the media, and then there's a whole lot of noise. But I can tell you, a large number of the persons who have been arrested, who are on bail, who are under investigation, are quiet. They will not make any noise about it. Some of them believe that the process must, the process must be followed. It's only a few who, once in a while, come in the media, and then people are massing up to go to Iyoko. But there are a lot of them who go quietly, do what they are asked to do, and leave without any noise at all.
In fact, just last 2 weeks, the running mate of the former Vice President, Dr. Matubok Prempeh himself was...
Oh, he said this?
He announced that NIB, he's been investigated by the NIB. I mean, he said he's been going to NIB for a while now.
Oh, okay.
And nobody knew that until he said it publicly.
Exactly.
You know about that case?
Yeah, I mean, I know about all the cases, from my office. So yes, that's so he's just confirmed what I'm saying. There are a couple of them who...
But what has he been investigated for? he put it out himself. I didn't know. What was he being investigated
A number of things, but I mean, he was a minister for energy and minister for education for the 8 years. So definitely we have projects that were undertaken during his time, and so he will definitely be answering questions in respect of that. The mathematical sets issues, those ones will fall under his ministry. But he's speaking from a position of office holder, and he has to speak to them. Unless you will not be prosecuted unless there is evidence that you were complicit in some of the things, So if you take the Sky train, for instance, Honorable Jogati at a point I think was invited, but he explained his side of the story. So when you look at the charge sheet for Sky train, he is not on it because...
Although he was a minister at the time.
Yeah, exactly. The fact that you're a minister doesn't mean that you will be criminally liable for anything. There are things that can happen in a ministry which may not be your doing. And so the fact that you're a minister, one, doesn't mean that you are guilty whenever there's a crime in your ministry. And the fact that you have been invited for questioning doesn't also mean that you are guilty. And like I said, the process I've outlined, you would see that you don't automatically or immediately go to court. You go to court when the evidence shows that the person or there's a crime.
I like Sremsai's office. It's the background of the office is quite beautiful. It's the same office that was built, constructed by Godfrey Dami and commissioned by Nana Akufo-Addo. The people that they said they criminally managed the economy. They put up a beautiful, befitting office of the Ministry of Justice just next to the court complex. So that's what Sremsai is sitting. That's why you see the beautiful background like that. I know that place quite well. Forgive me about that. Okay. Now, Sremsai said about the massing up, and this is where we are bringing the history to him. Now, let me talk to the Deputy Attorney General. Say, it is not because people don't... The reason why people don't mass up on many of the cases you are talking about is that they do not conduct a brutal arrest and a raid Anytime you conduct a brutal arrest and a raid, that is what triggers people to mass up. People mass up when they feel that there's a high-handed hand being used in the so-called investigation. So if you invite Joe Garte to Yoko and you speak to him, you call him, Joe, can you come? And he shows up, you speak to him and he signs his documents. That's it, he's gone. Nobody is going to mass up. But if you go to Ameya Kofi's house at 5 a.m. on a Sunday and you enter and you break his things and you take his bed and throw it away like what OSP irresponsibly did at SML yesterday, you're going to have a massing up. If Wuntumi goes to CID, he drove his car to CID, there was no problem. CID spoke to him. They can continue and prosecute him and take him to court. There's no problem about that. But if you conduct Rambo-style arrest, I'm talking to Stream side now. The point you are making is that if you look at the political legal history of Ghana, I'm going to show you videos. Whenever you conduct a Rambo-style arrest and people feel that the state power, the coercive authority of state handed to you because of an election is being misapplied by you or being applied in a high-handed manner, it is then that you trigger the will of the people and then they mass up. So the massing up and the not massing up equation is as simple as that. Massing up occurs when the arrest and the processes of getting the person to speak it looks like it's a Rambo style. It looks like you are using state power anyhow. It looks like you just want to teach the person a lesson. It looks like you want to embarrass the person. When you do that, whether it's NDC or MPP, people will mass up. I'm going to show you videos tonight. So get that straight, Honorable Sir side. Get that very straight. If you invite Matthew Opoku Prempeh there, he tells another person, many people know that Opoku Prempeh is there. I know a lot of people who go to Yoko all the time. Nothing happens. The other day, I heard Felix Kwachofosu speaking on Joy FM and said that Kesel Atuforsen was spoken to at Christmas time. Now, Atuforsen's witness statement, the statement for the court, was actually taken in Parliament. He was in Parliament. The prosecutors from the Attorney General's office went to Parliament and said, Honorable, this is the statement. Can you sign it? Can you write it? Whatever they needed from him. They went to take it from Parliament. They did not go and arrest him at Kwame Nkrumah Circle, surround his car and say that we are Yoko, we have warrant. When you do that, you will trigger the arrest. The other day, at the International Conference Center, Press Center in Accra, Johnson Asiedun Katia and Koko Anyidoho were both holding a press conference on some matter relating to politics. Koko Anyidoho had earlier said something about a potential coup d'etat against Akufo-Addo and linked it to a coup that overthrew Akufo-Addo's father. He had said it somewhere, I think on Radio Gold. Now, Asiedun Katia was a deputy, Koko Anyidoho was a deputy general secretary at the time. Johnson Asiedun Katia was a general secretary. And together they were holding a press conference at the International Conference Center. Instead of police calling Koko Anyidoho and say, come and answer questions, the police moved there to arrest him. And Sremsai, listen carefully. If he's not listening, tell him. The police moved there to arrest him. It is in those circumstances that people mass up. Watch the video of what happened then in 2018. After that, I'll show you something in 2001, 24 years ago, and you will understand that Sremsai demonstrated that he doesn't have sufficient acquaintance with the political legal history of this country. If he did, he won't say that some people come, they don't make noise, some people come, they make noise. Those about whom noise is made, about whom people are massed, like you go to Adenta Kumi's house at 6 a.m. and say, come, catch him and catch him. You can't do that. You shouldn't do that. Now, watch how the NDC responded to the Koko Anyidoho arrest. So you can see them here massing up, and they are quite angry. Let me know if there's sound so I can stop talking. That's Koko Anyidoho in there. Yeah, let's listen.
Can confirm that Deputy General Secretary of the NDC, Koko Anyidoho, is currently in there with top hierarchy of the police service. Early on at the International Press Center, macho men on motorbikes came there to obstruct an arrest that was going to be effected by personnel from the CID headquarters here. General Secretary of the NDC, Johnson Asiedun Katia, led Koko Anyidoho himself, together with these well-built macho men, to the police headquarters here. Upon reaching here, the macho men wanted access into the police headquarters. The police personnel here prevented them from entering, and so it was only a few executives of the NDC and Koko Anyidoho who were allowed into the police headquarters. At the moment, there's a meeting going on between the police personnel hierarchy, I must say, and
Mr. Kokua Yidoho.
Oh, where's the guy? Yes, you can see the video, people massing up over there because of the way in which the police at the time tried to arrest Kokwa Nyidoho. So please tell Sremsai, this is what happens. If people try to conduct arrest in a certain way, this is what will happen. But if you invite people to come to Iyoko, invite them to come to CID, invite them to come to NIB, nobody masses up because they are treated like people who are part of Ghana. But if this happens, now let's listen to this man.
We know them. We know them. Yesterday, the same boys in the Modiba court. But no, we know them. We know them. During election time, they are the boys that they were invisible forces. We know them. And they are the CID career. And then anyway, now I didn't understand me catching on the say. When and you know here, my intimidate your home. America for Baba, Ghana police. I'm with the 2 hours here. So America for Baba.
So why are you?
I'm here. I'm the bodyguard of the General Secretary. I'm his personal bodyguard. That's why I'm here.
And I'm saying that we were Kokwa Nyidoho. We are loyalists to the NDC party, and we follow Kokwa Nyidoho, trying to give him moral support. Why should you prevent us from entering this big yard?
But the appointment is not with you, as supporters.
Oh, but that doesn't matter. Do we know what is going to happen to Kokwa Nyidoho inside there? Is it the first time supporters of somebody who have been invited?
Your General Secretary followed him there, so why should
yeah, certainly, but we also thought that it would be better for us to follow to see exactly what was happening, what's going to happen in there. I am surprised because this was avoidable. You know, this thing we are seeing here is strange. You understand what prevented the CID from inviting Anyidoho in his office or whatever, that to come to the press center immediately after the press conference, you say you are invited to the police CID, which of course is wrong. And
do you know why they are arresting him?
For some comments he made. For some comments he made to the effect that if Akufo-Addo doesn't take care, there's going to be a coup in Ghana.
You know, those are treasonable.
Some of these views. A lot of citizens have
think they are ordinary views.
They aren't ordinary. The police has the right to invite Kokwa Nyidoho, but the premises and the motives he used to invite Kokwa Nyidoho was wrong.
Did you hear that? Sremsai, did you hear that? This is what happens. This is what happens. If you invite people to come to CID, nobody's going to mass up. That's what the guy was saying, that the police have a right to invite any Ghanaian and say that we're looking for you. The Iyoko has a right to invite any Ghanaian. But if you show up in or the person has come from London, like Kwame Dubois, like when I was told they wanted to do, you come to the airport, you put him in handcuffs, and then you are videoing it. And that's one, people will mass up. Woon to me drives out of CID, and he's not told by the CID that, Chairman, Iyoko is looking for you. So when you leave here, can you go to Iyoko? This man is with them. He will take you to the Iyoko office. So please, you and your lawyers, you can continue to Iyoko. He would have driven his car straight to Iyoko. But CID dismissed him, discharged him, and then he's on the road, and then some cars cross. People who are driving home get frightened. They who are not part of it get frightened. So tell Sremsai that this his distinction of some situations where people mass up and others where they don't mass up. It is not about whether people make noise on media or not. It is about the mode of the arrest. When people feel that the coercive authority of state's power, which has been given to an individual group of people because they won election, that coercive authority of state, which belongs to the state, is being used against other members of the state. You cannot use the coercive authority of state against other members of the state in a way that people feel that is unlawful. You remember the case of Sextus Tacinus, the natural law philosophy? When people feel that the law is not being applied correctly, they act in the way that you saw the guy act. I like what the guy said. Let's watch it again. When he talked about Kokwa Nyidoho was invited in a brutish way, the police. So what the CID did, he said that these are boys who were invisible forces, whatever, and they've now put CID dress on them. Does that look familiar to something we see these days? I don't know. You can answer that yourself. But the Deputy Attorney General should know better than what he said. He should know better that the reason why people mass up is because of the way that the coercive authority of state is used against other people as if they are not part of state. That's it. That's the important thing. Any democracy doesn't do that. You go to London, they arrest them all the time. The mayor of London has been arrested. I was there, I saw it, and it was very civil. They invited him to come, write a statement. As I was saying, after forcing, they sent the document to him in Parliament that he should sign it. The document, they didn't even tell him to come. They went to Parliament. So as it were, they went to his office to see him. Stremsai should understand this. I mean, if he's just coming to the political game, he should understand the political legal history and stop this. He can't whitewash this and say some people are mad and then they mass up there. No, there are people who are feeling that rights are being abused. That's why they mass up out there. Let's listen to the guy again. Let's hear him again.
I am surprised because this was avoidable. You know, this thing we are seeing here is strange. You understand what prevented the CID from inviting Anyidoho in his office or whatever? That to come to the press center immediately after the press conference, you say you are invited to the police CID, which of course is wrong. And
do you know why they are arresting him?
For some comments he made. For some comments he made to the effect that if Akufo-Addo doesn't take care, there's going to be a coup in Ghana. You know,
those are treasonable
some of these views. A lot of citizens have
they are ordinary views.
They aren't ordinary. The police has the right to invite Koko Anyidoho, but the premises and the modus he used to invite Koko Anyidoho was wrong.
The police have a right to invite Koko Anyidoho, but the modus in which they used to invite Anyidoho was wrong. The police have a right to invite anyone, but if the modus is wrong, people will mass up. Stremsai should know that. The Deputy Attorney General, distinguished PhD holder of law, he should know that. He should acquaint himself with the political legal history of Ghana, and he will understand it. Now I'm going to show you a documentary which is very emotional, and I'm going to talk about this. It's a very emotional matter. This is the second part. So, producer, this is another file. This is the second part of the video. Now, I'm talking about myself and other people, so it's quite emotional. Now, in 2001, 24 years ago, in about August to September 2001, I was a reporter for Joy FM, and I was reporting on important court cases that Akufo-Addo as Attorney General was conducting. One of them was the quality grain, which we all know about, Richard Kwame Pepra, etc. And I have to say this for viewers to see. After covering the quality grain trial, and then some people were imprisoned, unfortunately, I went to someone prison to see them. I saw Victor Salome. How old was I? 20-something. I saw Victor Salome. I saw Kwame Pepra. I saw Sipa Yankee. I think someone prison. I call him Uncle V, Victor Salome, because he was very close friends with Komla Dumo. So I knew him, Uncle V. And usually when you go to someone, Uncle V is always in the hospital. They have a hospital in some. When you cross the fields, there's a hospital. I think that's my only time I've been there. And I'll go and visit Victor Salome and talk to him about it. I was like that. So during the Tsikata trial, I came back to the office and, everybody was, usually you come back to the office, they ask you what happened and I'm talking and I'm telling them the prosecution's case, this is what the prosecution is saying. So my editor, Susan, will ask me, Komlan will be in the meeting. What happened in court? I said that when I went, this is what the prosecution said, how are we going to cover? We decide and then we do a script and then 6 o'clock news, I'm on reporting what happened in court. I don't know whether they still do that. I'm sure they do. Now, one of those instances, Komlan asked me that, have you met Tsikata? I said, no. He said, why don't you go and see him? He's the accused person. You're always talking to the prosecution people. You should go and speak to him as well. I thought that was excellent. I said, but how do I get him? He said, I'll give you a number. So I phoned the number. And then Tsikata was at that time staying in a place he called his mother's house. That's what he told me. In Medina Rolling Circle. This is 2001, after he had been GMPC chief executive for many years. He was staying in this house at Medina Rolling Circle. Now, I knew Rolling Circle very well because I went to Presec. And if you go to Presec and you like to go out sometimes to break bounds and hoping the headmaster doesn't catch you, we go through the headmaster's residence. Those of you know the Presec architecture well. Outside the headmaster's residence, we just end up in Medina and that's Rolling Circle. Kochi Chrome is there, etc., etc. That's a story for another day. So I knew a Rolling Circle. So when Chachu said I should get to Rolling Circle and call him, it was a landline actually. And I called and I went to sit with him and I asked him questions. And this is the sensitive part. Until J.A. Kufuor, if you can put Mr. Tsikata's photograph, sorry, I should have told you, but let's move on. Great, thank you. Until J.A. Kufuor prosecuted Mr. Tsikata, Tsikata was not that well known. It is the prosecution of Tsikata that made him so well known. And I'm going to show you a video on how this thing happened. Because until then, only people who worked in the inner circle of the PNDC, those who worked in the inner circle of the NPP, those who understood the inner circles the inner workings of the PNDC administration. People didn't even know there's a company called GMPC. Because Ghana didn't have oil at the time. GMPC was the company looking for oil for Ghana. And many of us didn't know. Sometimes we had GMPC in the budget. This whole fracas between Tsikata and Kwesi Botwe about Kwesi Botwe being finance minister, wanting Tsikata's accounts at GMPC to come under the control of the Ministry of Finance and the Bank of Ghana. And it was a tussle between them and J.J. Rawlings. I don't know whether I put a chapter of that in my book, but I listened to that story quite well. If you didn't know these things, you wouldn't know anything about Tsikata. He was not a regular practitioner of law at the court. After the Tufo and Attorney General case in 1979, once the PNDC came and he took up the GMPC job sometime around 1984, he completely focused on it and he did a good job. They focused on the GMPC job until then. It was the prosecution of Tsikata and the purported arrest of Tsikata in church that gave the uproar because people felt that this was not the way to use the state power. And then Chachu went to court and he won this Supreme Court issue about fast track court, etc., etc. Eventually, Chachu was in prison. So I'm telling Sremsai again, even when there's a trial and people believe that the trial was not a good trial and that the person who ended up in prison should not have ended up in prison, the natural will that God has put in the people will occasion a resistance. Not to talk of arrest. Arrest will occasion massing up. But even when there's a trial, so Victor Salome was tried, Kwame Pepra was tried, and Sipayanki was tried. They were convicted. There was no massive movement that free Victor Salome or free Kwame Pepra, because I think somehow, because of the Rene Cotton case in America, people felt that something had gone wrong. In the case of Mr. Tsikata, having been arrested in church and having won his case at the Supreme Court about the fast track High Court, the government appealed, added one judge, the judgment was turned over. Naturally, whether by perception or reality, people felt that there was something gone amiss with the trial of Tsikata. So this video you're going to watch now, which is 24 years old, was a massive movement that was set up by Tsikata. I like to remember my friend Sola Klamati. He's an NDC guy. I don't know where he is these days. He's practicing law. But that time we were working at CTFM together, and we had come from Commonwealth Hall together, and Sola and I will spend a lot of time on the car park talking about this Tsikata case, because Sola wanted to join the Tsikata movement, and at CTFM, we were the bosses, we needed to allow him to join, and I said, yeah, he can go ahead and join. And so CTFM was owned by Nikamatefio, who was close to Kufuor, and Sola wasn't sure whether. I said, oh, you can join. And then so when we're doing Eyewitness News, he will ask me whether we can spend some time to talk about the Tsikata movement, and we did. This was a massive movement set up for Tsikata even after he was in prison. Watch this documentary by TV3 24 years ago and tell Sremsai that what brings about the massing up is the unlawful use of state power. Have a look.
The Attorney General in the Supreme Court said the state was not questioning the viability of the project. So where is the loss? It is only 6 months to the end of term of the MPP government, and President Kufuor's wishes have been fulfilled. He gloats over Chachu's imprisonment in a rally speech at Medina, Accra. A spontaneous campaign to free Chachu begins with membership from all over the country and abroad.
When the government of the New Patriotic Party first came to power, it was in 2001, remember J.H. Mensah? He stood on a political platform and stated that by the time they finished with their opponents, the NDC would not be standing. Presumably, he had in mind jailing them. B.A. Mensah, the businessman, a close associate of the president, did an article in the Chronicle where he stated that it was time to touch the untouchables. And one of the untouchables that he specifically mentioned was Chachu Tsikata.
Adientia enisi yenuya Chachu Tsikata de fiase sima bakupo. Enese onwia obia dama, enwia obia tepu, onfa obia sika. Yenuya Chachu Tsikata onye konfo. Ena onye wagadre ɔyɛ ɔmamba pa a wayɛ adwuma sɛ ne ɛbɛyɛ a Ghana man ni nyinaa bɛtu mpɔn ɛnu nti ɛne ɛse ɛni sɛ ɔda mfiase.
Chachu has sacrificed his life for our dear nation. Chachu has demonstrated that you can engage in public service without looting state coffers, without getting corrupted, without amassing wealth. And yet, how do we repay him for these sacrifices that he has made?
Chachu has no business being there. When people like Chachu, are put in a place like this, that should tell you the nature of the government. That should tell you the nature of Kufuor and his people, of Nana Akufo-Addo, etc.
There aren't that many people who live by our national anthem. As soon as you start talking about the truth in Tsikata's case, it is given all sorts of colors. Thank you for being bold to defend the cause of freedom and of right. Remember, God is watching. God is watching. Thank you very much.
Members are unrelenting in their pursuit for justice for Tsikata and his release.
If you want to kill me,
Free Chachu now is their passionate cry.
Okay, so let me have Sremsai back, and then let me tell him that when you are doing Deputy Attorney General's work and you want to run media commentary, you have to acquaint yourself with the political, legal history of the country. You don't just come and say that some people mass up, as if those who mass up, they don't have any work to do and they just come and mass up. No, they don't just come and mass up. They mass up when they feel that you, the Attorney General, and your boss, Dominic Ayeni, and Raymond Archer, Uyoko boss, and the NIB boss, and the state apparatus are using the state power in a manner that is unlawful. That's why they mass up. And that point must be made very, very strong. It's very, very important. It must be made clear to whichever governments. As for governments, we now know that they go and come. Me, I've been here. I went to see Chachu Tsikata in Medina. In 2017, I went to see him at Cantonment when I interviewed him for the documentary on the election petition. I went to his house at Cantonment, and I'm sure he received me because of that relationship we had. Because in 2001, I took time on Komla Dumo's advice, may he rest in peace, that go and see Chachu and listen to his side of the story. I went to Medina, and I sat with him, and I listened to his side of the story. It influenced my reporting, and it gave me some interesting perspectives about the reporting on the Chachu Tsikata trial. It is out of that trial that I also got a very good relationship with Justice Pega, who is still my friend. Is Justice Pega still alive? I keep asking people, is Justice Pega still alive? If he is, let me go and see him. I need to. I'll go to Justice Pega's house at Ridge, near the passport office. What has now been broken is one of the buildings broken for the cathedral. But that's where Pega lived. And I'll close from law school, I'll drive to Pega's house, we sit down and we talk. And he lived downstairs because it was a story, but he couldn't climb. So because of when I was reporting the Chachu Tsikata case, and I will be consulting Justice Pega every now and then just to make sure that my reporting is sharp. So when I leave court, I go to Pega's house. I tell him, my lord, he was not on the case. I say, my lord, this is what happened. And then he will tell me that, no, this is a legal terminology to use. There's an authority here and then. And that's how it worked. So the important points to note after Justice Sremsai's interview, magnificent and beautiful interview with Joy FM, is to tell him that don't come and say people mass up and it's irregular. It is not irregular. It is when they feel you are using the state's power wrongly. That is when they mess up. And that's the history that I've showed you. I deliberately used NDC history to confront him with the facts so that he can understand. I hope that the point is well made. But you can have your say. Good evening, Ghana Official. Please send your comments here. All right. I'd like to take your comments and then I'll show you a video of Yoko boss Raymond Archer when he appeared in Good Evening Ghana studios in 2018 complaining about the state's power, again, being used wrongly against him. Let me see what text messages we have now. Antoinette, can you take us through some of them?
Yeah, thank you so much, Paul. Firstly, some viewers have been incessantly asking where they would get the books to buy Africa's New Constitutional Leadership. Some said they are in the UK and some said they are in different parts of...
Those in the UK and America is on Amazon. Oh, where's Michelangelo? I'll put up the Amazon document on the Facebook page so that you can see it. It's on Amazon. But we are getting new copies printed by appointed time, they are giving us about 2,000 copies, I think, on Saturday. So there'll be enough. We sold everything. I'm so delighted. And Amazon also sells. It's not bad. It's not bad to write a book that people want to read. You know, the elections came in and it sort of took the info away, but we are gradually relaunching it. And we are doing a second book already. I want to do 10 books about Ghana's political history by the time I'm 55. Uncle Ray, how are you? Okay, let's get the text messages and then we'll come to Raymond.
To the story, Samuel Kweku Alote Papo says, Paul seems to only be breaking it down for people in government to learn to stop the Rambo-style arrest. This is not about partisanship. He is only clearly given examples of how both parties are guilty of the same thing. And Moses Echampon says, the learned lawyer is fresh in politics, so let us give him some time to learn a bit about the Ghanaian politics. The most dangerous thing the learned lawyer is about to learn is that the Ghanaian security institutions are biased towards the government in power, and maybe it's time that the nation puts a stop to it. Now, Yao February is explaining the cause for the Rambo-style. Now, he says that an arrest that the public see as an abuse on the rights of the accused is when people start to mass up to show solidarity. Both the NDC and the NPP sympathizers are complicit in such actions since history. So, if the Deputy AG wants to change the narrative, he should advise the security agencies and intelligence agencies to update their archaic style of approaching an arrest. Now, Owusu Joe says, Paul, let us not blame the Deputy AG. I think he doesn't know much about the Ghanaian politics. This happens when they give positions to people who have stayed outside Ghana for a longer period of time. Both two leading political parties in one way or the other indulge in massing up. This is nothing new in Ghanaian politics and the records are there to check. Good evening to you, Paul. Keep educating people. Alhaji Yusuf Husseini also says, if the Deputy AG is making this statement, it clearly shows he doesn't understand the political history regarding people massing up to support one of their own in solidarity. Clearly, their decency in applying the law with civility is shown when they mass up to support their own. Now, Wages Society says, it seems the NDC guys watching are not getting Paul's drift. He is only trying to draw a picture of how the police arrest people and how that triggers the masses to troop to the various intelligence agencies. Dr. Prekesa says the Rambo-style comes into play when you are invited and you keep tossing them. Some are invited on the quiet, but because they know they don't have a good case, they would be hiding in their basement and calling Ghanaians to their rescue. Can Paul please talk about that as well? I think maybe he would do that later. And lastly, still on the story, Nana Owusu says, Justice Sremsei admitted that there are 7 stages before you can get someone prosecuted under the 1992 Constitution and the law in general. The AG is gradually becoming aware of the truth and has gone undercover for some time. Anyway, the law is the law and not some one-sided narrative. Now back to you, Paul.
All right. Thank you very much, Antoinette. And let me tell you another story before we get into the next line of the Kwabena Dubois matters. We know that I had Nana Boachi speaking on the Kenoforiata issues on Joy FM yesterday and on City FM as well. I saw him at the funeral today. We had a good chat. Okay. Sometime in 2019, there was a very difficult situation for us here at Good Evening Ghana because of our political relationships and our social relationships. McDan, the boss of the McDan group of companies, had been appointed by Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo as a chairman of the Trade Fair Company, chairman of the board of the Trade Fair Company. In his capacity as chairman of the board of the Trade Fair Company, McDan was responsible for supporting the minister's policy directives at the trade fair. It was decided that the trade fair should be redone, should be reformed. Everything there should be broken down and they should go and have investors to come and build a superstructure trade fair to reflect his name of the 70s and 80s. In the process, Raymond Archer, who today is Yoko boss, had a big business, thriving business there. And we're all very proud of Raymond Archer because I think that Raymond Archer was about the only regular practicing journalist news reporter who had edited the Chronicle in 2000 as a very young man. He was Chronicle's editor in the year 2000, which was significant. And editing Chronicle in the year 2000 means that you are pushing an MPP agenda, of course. He left the Chronicle to form the Enquirer. Again, I was on City when Raymond came to a Friday morning show and announced that he was forming the Enquirer. He was being supported by Eddie Annan and people like that. Very, very good idea. So he set up his own newspaper. I think he was one of the youngest to have his own newspaper in those days. And then later he left the Enquirer after Professor Mills became president and set up a business, a printing business. So it was quite admirable that a news reporter, transitions into that. So I used to go and visit him at Trade Fair to look at what he's doing. And I was very proud of him. He was now doing business for Diageo and all of that. In those days, I don't know whether he likes me to tell you, but I can tell you. In those days, after Thursday, Good Evening Ghana, every Thursday, we'll meet at Jowulu, where Confidence had her thing, aphrodisiac, and then we'll have a good time there all the time. Raymond likes to jump. Don't worry about the Yoko thing. Raymond likes to jump. Anyway, so McDan had come on Good Evening Ghana and had spoken about why the demolition occurred. It was a very difficult time for Raymond Archer and his partners because they had things. So he called me to come and look at it. I went there on a Sunday and I saw that they had dug around the thing. And he said, look at what your people have done. These were his words. He said, look at what your people have done. Look at it. Look at what your people have done. So I looked at it. I called people. I said, what is this issue? Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so I interviewed McDan and he justified it. Then I got a call from Raymond. These were high-stakes political issues, very high stakes. I got a call from Raymond and he said, look, you are my friend. You've been my friend for long. You had McDan on your show to speak lies. And he said everything he said was untrue. Listen, Paul, I demand an appearance on your show about this matter. I don't care how that's going to affect your political relationships. I know you have political friends on the other side, but you have been my friend since 1998 or 1999. I said, I hear you, Raymond. So I called my people. I said, Raymond Archer wants an interview. They said, wow. I said, well, we may have to do it. If we look at the GJ's Code of Ethics, the National Media Commission, you have to give their story the other side. Tussle here and there, battle here and there. One day I put a flyer up, Raymond Archer on Good Evening Ghana tonight. Calls were flying everywhere, left, right, center. But I think I remember I got a call from a Kwesi Ahoy who said that you are very bold. I'll be watching the interview tonight. It's very good. I think I got a call from Victor Smith as well, who said, I'll be watching the interview tonight. This is what your people are doing. So we had the interview. Raymond Archer came. I'm going to show you the first 5 minutes of that interview. First aired in 2019. No comment. And then we come back and continue with the show. Raymond Archer is the boss of Iyoko. Have a look. Welcome back. Thank you very much for your time. And Raymond Archer is here. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Chelsea got beaten 3-0 at the Stamford Bridge.
That's my team.
That's what I'm telling you.
Yeah, unfortunate, but that's such is life.
I asked people to send me what should be the first question that I ask you tonight. And the question that people sent, it all resonates. They want to find out your lease, your relationship with the Trade Fair Authority relating to your lease, your ability to be there, your rights to be there. Do you have a valid lease at this time?
I thought people would want to know what happened.
Yes, we play that. We play the tape over and over again.
I've given you a couple of videos, so
we will show that. But we've already played the demolition video. We play that.
No, but that was when it was happening.
Yes.
But I heard McDan here when he said that they only took up the roof.
I'll show that.
So the videos are there. Before the factory was demolished, after the factory was demolished, and even prior to the factory being demolished. So I hope that we get to show that.
We'll show that, no problem.
Now, Paul, I watched your show last week, and I cringed. I cringed because I worried that we had public office holders like McDan, who even in the face of facts will sit in public and blatantly lie. Now,
what did he say that was
now,
true?
You see, he came to dangle a 2014 letter, which you read.
Yes,
here.
I read it, yes.
Now, that letter, you see, I've watched the trade fair and I've kept quiet for so long, and I think they're tying a rope around their neck. The letter that you read was dated 2014,
yes,
right?
Yes, or 2012. We have it.
No, 2014. I have it here.
Okay.
Was dated 2014.
Yeah.
Signed by Mr. Poti, the then CEO of Ghana Trade Fair. And he said that was my lease. And he read
I read it.
Yeah, and you read the details of it. Now, Paul, I'm telling you, I didn't go to Trade Fair in 2014. I went to trade fair in 2010. My request for the plot that I occupy at Pavilion Y is here. April 5th, 2010 is when I went to the trade fair. At the time I went to trade fair, Puti was not even chief executive.
Okay, so what the 2014 letter about?
So it couldn't have been that my lease was 2014, signed by a man who was not even at the trade fair at the time I went to the trade fair.
So what's that letter about? The 2014
the 2014 letter was a letter in respect of expansion. Mind you, I had been there since 2010. I needed to do expansion. One of the things I wanted to do was to build a warehouse. I heard McDan talking here that I was given permission only to build a warehouse. The warehouse is in a completely different location from where the factory is. Hold on one second. The judge basically said that Trade Fair had told them that there was investors' interest and that we were sort of
undermining that
interest, and that there was some sort of a national interest that was being sabotaged by dependency of the court case. But what is the national interest? Is the national interest not the collection of individual interests?
It is indeed.
So what's the national interest?
But let's our viewers hear what the judge said. He said that, if I may ask, as it stands, will it be fair, this is the judge, will it be fair to maintain the injunction, which is what you had, which has been pending against the trade fair, looking at the financial losses the nation is currently facing? That's what the judge said. That your injunction is causing financial losses. Let me finish and then we deal with it. It says, there is no evidence before me that this salient fact was brought to the attention of the courts differently constituted, that's the court that gave you the injunction, before the grant of the injunction order complained of. It is my considered view, this is the judge, that since the color planets, Raymond Archer, are not seeking for title to the land, but rather compensation. He said you're not seeking for title, you're seeking for compensation, general damages, and an order compelling the trade fair to consider you as part of any future development of the trade fair site. It will be fair, the judge says, and convenient to vacate the injunction order, which I accordingly vacate, for the government to go ahead with the facelift of the Ghana Trade Fair Authority for the betterment of the nation, as well as the Raymond Archer should be able to prove their relief A, something like that. Okay. So the judge said that it will not be fair for him to maintain the injunction because of the national interest. However, he says your damages and all of that can be dealt with.
Paul, you see, like I said, I'm not a lawyer.
Yeah, I'm just reading what the judge said.
But I don't think that the law is based on stupidity.
I certainly hope not.
Yeah. I think the law is based on...
But this is what the judge said.
I think the law is based on fairness.
Yeah.
On justness.
But the judge was also talking about fairness.
Hold on. Yeah. In his own word, did trade fair prove to them, even in the court, that, we have A, B, C investors who have put money in this project as we speak today?
No, he said something like that. He didn't say, he said...
I'm saying that the trade fair proof. Trade fair said it.
You want to see the full interview? We can put it on Good Evening Ghana's official page for you to see. Now, Antoinette, do you have some messages for us before we zoom into the Cabinet Dubois matter? We have a mountain of conversation to have with you. Give us some text messages, Antoinette. What are people saying?
Well, some of the people went back to stories we are yet to cover. Paulus, for all the way from Kaswa, on the story of the nurses, says that nurses deserve what the NDC government is doing to them, because the nurses said the NPP government did nothing for them and they were ungrateful, so they deserve what is going on. Gasti Man, on the story of the radio station, says that the president is playing the good guy by allowing shut down radio stations to operate again as if he wasn't part of the decision in the first place. This is pure propaganda, a calculated move to win public sympathy. Yao February says, thank you, Paul, for going to show solidarity to the family by attending the funeral. Togbe says about Dr. Tanko, he said what he has is a PhD. On a more serious note, this is someone who continuously claimed to earn a PhD in public administration from an online university known as Kingsnor University, But this online university has never been in existence, not even in the database of the Welsh University archives. And as if that wasn't enough, on Umaru Sanders' show in July 2024, he claimed to have earned his PhD from the USA. Presumably, the online university ought to have been present in the USA's university archives, even if it is an online university accredited. And to add salt to injury, he got someone to create a WordPress site called King's Now University to ostensibly lay legitimacy to his own claims that the university exists. Meanwhile, they forgot to edit the date the site was created. Thus, according to Tanko and his collaborators, the university only came into existence on 30th May 2025 when people started to doubt his PhD. But the fact is that some of us knew long ago that he has no PhD, and this is because he has previously written on his LinkedIn account that he was doing a PhD in political economy. Of course, he's taking the profile down, knowing people would question him on it, but we've got the screenshot. But even on a more serious note, his claim in the past that he was doing a master's or a PhD in Legon turns out to be false. We are looking forward to Paul and what he will say today. Now back to you, Paul.
All right, so I had those comments about the cancellation of the radio stations and all that. I'm looking at who are the 60 radio stations and get the research. Well, we'll deal with that. And it's now 28 minutes at the top of the hour. Let's come to our next topic, and it's about the trial of Kwabena Edubuahin. So here I have Kwabena Edubuahin, the accused person, his lawyer, Leonard Atacha, who has stopped picking the calls of his friend, the Attorney General, Dominic Ayini, because he's worried that if he picks Dominic Ayini's calls, maybe they are recording, and because of the culture of recording prosecution and Attorney Generals that we have seen in the past, Atta doesn't want to get involved in any of those things. So he told the media weeks ago that he doesn't pick Dominic Ayini's call, even though he's a very good friend, because of this matter. Now, where is the matter now? It's at what they call case management stage. The prosecution have brought a mountain of documents for the defense lawyers to look at. The reason why the prosecution has to do that is that the court criminal procedure requires that they should submit every document that they'll be relying upon so that nothing comes as a surprise during the trial process, isn't it? Okay. Now, we're going to deal with the witness statements. The witness statements that the prosecution has released. So they've released a witness statement of 3 people. One of them is an errand boy. One of them is a driver. And in the statement, some of which is relied on by Atacha in this report. We put this together after talking to the lawyers. So we put a test photograph there, but we put it together after talking to him. And we have to state that publishing this, which is a response from it's not a response, but it's a sort of the version of the defense lawyers after the publication of the witness statements, because the witness statement found its way on Ghana Web. It was all over. Prosecution leaked it, so it was published. So we got it and then went to the defense lawyers and said, this is the witness statement that is online. It looks like it's credible. And do you have it? They say, yes, we have it. He says, is it the same as you have here? What do you have to say about it? And they said something about it. In publishing this document, we are not suggesting in any way that this is how the court should rule. We do not know how the court should rule. Neither do we know how the court will rule. But we are educating our viewers on the point of a high public interest matter. That this is what the defense lawyers are saying to the witness statements that you may have seen online, Ghana Web, Joy Online, TTTV Online, Good Evening Ghana Official. You've seen it all over, isn't it? Metro TV Online, it's all there. So I will take you through what we gathered from the defense lawyers. It is by no means the point of judgment. It is by no means what the judges will do. We have no idea of what the judges will do. The law is in the bosom of the judge. So let's see it. It's entitled The Republic versus Kwabena Edubuahin, first accused, Angela Eje Boateng, second accused, Milfred Donko, third accused, and Advantage Solutions is the fourth accused person. Let's go through it. Now, this is what the lawyers say. They say that the material witnesses in this case should be the former National Security Minister, Honorable Albert Kandapaa, and the former National Security Coordinator, Mr. Edward Asumani, who should make a positive judicial confession that Kwabena Edubuahin was a rogue national security head in charge of the National Signals Bureau, who has dishonestly misappropriated operational funds of the National Security Secretariat on their blind side. Now, why is Atachian saying this? Atachian is saying this because, assuming we are prosecuting the Beza at Presec, or Holy Child, or Achimota School, or St. Aquinas, and the Beza says that the money that you said that I have put in a separate account, the headmaster was aware of it. It was the headmaster and I who decided that we should open another account at UMB so that when the school fees comes, we divide it into two. This one goes to buying vegetables, and this one goes to buying crop, and this one goes to buying grain, and this one goes to buying detergent. And so we have separated everything. But because we didn't want people to know that we are going to buy detergent, the detergent one, we classify the accounts as 001. The crops one, we call it 005. So if you see 005, it is the headmaster and I who agreed to do that. National Signals Bureau, his boss is the National Security Minister and the National Security Coordinator. If he has spent money unlawfully, it is money, and it's money that belongs to the national security apparatus. It is the national security bosses who should be the principal witnesses saying that we think that Kwabena Edubuahin crossed the line. It should be them talking. So this is the first point Atachian makes, that the kinds of witnesses that they brought, people who really don't have power to check on what Kwabena Edubuahin is doing, they are sent, go to bank, go and bring X hundreds of thousands of cedis. You, go to here, go and bring this. Accountant, write to the bank that they should bring us this. So the fact that the guy comes and says, my boss sent me to go and take 500,000, I brought it to him. My boss sent me to go and take 600,000, I brought it, he said I should take it to this person. My boss sent me to go to the bank to tell the bank that they should write this way, write that way. Atachian is suggesting to all of us that that might not be material in holding the accused person responsible. So that's the first point he makes. Let's move on. He says prosecution witness statement. It's not just him, all the lawyers who are talking to us. Prosecution witness statement of Frank Anane. And the question they are asking is, can a self-confessed errand boy be privy to, understand, and appreciate national security operations and the funding thereof? Regrettably, there's nothing in this witness statement which incriminates the accused person. These are the words of the lawyers. I don't know what the position that the judge will take, but these are the words of the lawyers. And we're sharing it with you as a matter of public interest. Now, he's saying here that the person that is your witness statement says of himself that I'm an errand boy to Kwabena Edubuahin. He sends me to go and buy him yokogari and sends me to go and buy him wache and sends me to the bank and sends me to do everything. He said, okay, how many times did he send you to the bank? He said, oh, he sends me to the bank every Wednesday. About how much money do you collect? Hey, it's a lot of money, oh. Hey, my boss, when he sends me to the bank, the money is in Ghana, must go back. It's a lot. What do you do with the money? Well, when I take it from the bank, sometimes I bring it to him. Sometimes I bring it here. And then it appears he was asked, do you send some to his wife? Because there's a headline who says that I did not send any money to Kwabena Edubuahin. So he says, no, I didn't send any money to his wife. So the conversation here is that if you are prosecuting a boss and you want to find out that the boss of a national security system has misappropriated money, the way to do it is not to call his errand boy and say, yeah, he's sent to go to the bank. He doesn't know what it is for. He doesn't know. He just goes to collect the money and he brings it. But that is one of the principal witnesses for the prosecution. And the defense lawyers are suggesting that this might not work. But it depends on what the court will do. The next one, prosecution witness statement of Edith Ruby Opoku Edumoa. And he says that, can we assume that the witness has obtained national security clearance to violate his oath of confidentiality and testify on matters of national security consequence and ramifications? As paragraph 7, the witness states the following, quote, the operational accounts, however, were managed by the director of the BNC and supervised by the National Security Coordinator. The defense lawyers are suggesting to us that inside the witness statement, there's a line which really reveals everything. And tonight we have letters to show you that indeed, bosses of Kwabena Edubuahin supervised the work that he was doing with those humongous sums of money. It says the operational, this is the witness speaking. that the operational account, this is a witness who works there. This is not just an errand boy. This is somebody who works there, and that's why they're asking whether he has had national security clearance. Anyway, you may say that the government can clear him and they don't have to tell the defense counsel. That's possible. But let's look here. 7 paragraph. He says, the operational accounts, however, were managed by the director of the BNC, which is the first accused, Kwabena Dubois, and supervised by the National Security Coordinator. So the question is, National Security Coordinator, did you truly supervise this account? Then if the prosecution is concerned about the way the accounts were supervised, they can charge the National Security Coordinator as A2 if they want. Let's move on and see a little bit more. Thus, he continues, thus checks were written upon the instructions of the director of the BNC, and the reasons for payments were never disclosed to the head of finance. So the guy says that the account was supervised, this is in the witness statement, that the account was supervised by the National Security Coordinator. And so the checks that were written upon instructions of the BNC director and the reasons for payments were never disclosed to him, head of finance. Because it is supervised by them. They write the checks. They don't tell him the reason why. That is the way in which things are done. They don't tell them the reason why. He says, and this is the point. It's a question. Is this not a self-confession that at the level of operational accounts, not even the national security operatives may be able to interpret and come to terms with the reasons behind the expenditures? By this implication and necessary admission, how can anybody interpret expenditures touching on operational matters as misappropriated for personal gain? And I may add, without the confirmation of the boss, the National Security Minister, the National Security Coordinator. If you bring an errand boy to say, I took money, or you bring the head of finance who is saying to you that the way they do it there, I don't get to know what the money is for. It's between the National Security Coordinator and the BNC boss. They take the money and they do their operations. It's an operational account. I don't know it. Now, so coded is this operational account that if you look at the bank and the accounts, the check name, the checkbook, the name of the checkbook is a BNC account. But if you look at the email trail from the relationship between Iyoko and the banks in the investigation, the account is not called BNC. It is called the National Security Coordinator's account. That's the proper name. But the checkbook is not written as National Security Coordinator account because they don't want everybody in the bank. They print the checks, they bring it, and I'm going to say, hey, National Security account, hey, wait, no. So the checkbook bears a different name for the real account. So when the check comes to the bank and it goes to a teller and they see it and they enter it, they will see National Security account and they take it to their boss. Like, hey, boss, they brought some check, your people, please. And then they deal with it. So it is in the witness statement. So what the lawyers are telling us is that even if you look at their own witness statement, they have admitted that there's a hierarchy through which this process goes. And without that hierarchy, you cannot incriminate anyone. Tonight, there's more that we have found in the laws of the National Signals Bureau Act that was passed by Parliament. And we're going to share that with you in a minute. Let me rush through it so we don't spend too much time. So this is a very important point I have to re-emphasize. And he says that it's a self-confession that at the level of operational account, not even national security operatives, that is those who work there, not even them may be able to interpret and come to terms with the reasons behind expenditures. By this implication and the necessary admission, how can anybody interpret expenditures touching on operational matters as misappropriated funds for personal gain? Obviously, the story goes on. Edith Rubio Pokua Edumwa is totally not aware that the private company by name BNC Communication Bureau Limited, which she asserts is owned and controlled by Kwabena Dubois and his wife, and had a bank account with UMB Bank, was a national security arrangement engineered by the late Joshua Chairman at all material times, the National Security Coordinator, of course. So the point is that the national security operative that the investigators are talking to, the lawyers are suggesting to us that lady does not even know that this BNC account, which she thinks is owned by Kwabena Dubois, was actually directed to be opened by Joshua Chairman. And we have a letter here to that effect. Let me read and I'll bring you the letter. The checks issued by the intended witness in the sums of 1 million, 21 million were mere mundane duties of a director of finance at the National Signals Bureau who did not have an understanding of what they were intended for. It is apparent that at her level, there are some confidential matters in the realm of national security operations that she is not even permitted to know. On her own showing, the entire statement of the intended witness is of no evidential value, as she cannot pontificate what she does not know or even understand. Now, the point about it's not being of evidential value is a statement of the lawyers. As I said before, it doesn't mean that the court will accept that there's no evidential value. That doesn't mean that. The court may also accept. The court may not accept. But we are sharing it with you. It's a matter of public interest. It's very, very important that we share these things with you. Now, prosecution witness statement from Frank Marshall. So there's another guy, Frank Marshall Cromwell, who is the investigator. This is what they said. Frank Marshall Cromwell is an investigator of Iyoko and Iyoko's conveyor belt. He is merely relaying the suspicions and interpretations of matters Iyoko does not understand by reason of the operational character of the previous national security arrangement, which to all intents and purposes, the previous Minister for National Security and the National Security Coordinator are custodians of those confidential and submarine undertakings. Perhaps, the story continues, the entire investigation team have ignored Mr. Joseph Tremer's letter to Advantage Solutions to open the BNC Communication Bureau account with the UNB Bank. Again, Iyoko has mentioned ISC Holdings contract, but has failed or refused or neglected to make ISC Holding a material witness to consolidate their case of a ruse of a supply of cybersecurity equipment. Now, what's he saying? The point he's making is that the contract between the national security and the ISC has been part of the conversation, that they could see some money moved to ISC. And he's saying that the allegations from the investigators is that this ISC contract was used as a ruse for people to steal money. That's really part of the case they are making. And the defense opinion is that if truly ISC account or ISC contract to supply was used as a ruse to steal money, how come that the ISC is not a witness? How come that the ISC is not a witness? So the lawyers took the opportunity to write to ISC and said, we have heard that you are in a matter. Come and tell us what happened. Did you truly supply equipment or did you not? I'll come to the ISC letter. Please get it ready. I'll call it for it very soon. It goes on to say that there's a gaping hole in the prosecution's case against the backdrop that the cybersecurity equipment has been duly supplied by the ISC Holdings to the benefit of the national security of Ghana. Equally, there's a huge assumption that the designation of what the sum of over 49 million for the acquisition of a cybersecurity equipment is what the heads of national security intended the money to be used for. Indeed, Iyoko is bereft of, that's the West, understanding that classifications of expenditure could be decoys for other operational purposes. Now, what he's trying to say here is that the investigators are misleading themselves. That's what he's saying. The investigators don't think they are misleading themselves, but this is what the point he's making. That the investigators are misleading themselves because they are assuming that 49.1 million, which they saw in the account, was all intended to pay for the cybersecurity equipment. No, it wasn't. The cybersecurity equipment was paid out of that. And in fact, it's not all the cybersecurity money that was paid out of that account. They run different accounts and pay different things from different places. So they pay the cybersecurity out of that, and then they use the rest for other things, which was sanctioned by the hierarchy. That's really the point. Okay, let's move on and see what else we have. It says that there is no nexus between the properties listed and the crime Iyoko is trying to urge upon the court. If the properties were acquired through the proceeds of a crime, then the acquisition should be contemporaneous with the lodgement of 49 million lodged in the BNC Communication Bureau Limited accounts with the UNB. Let me explain this as well. We've heard, and Dominic Ayini told us, that Kwabena Dubois has a lot of properties. He bought 27 houses. He has some estates in Fafraha and all of that. Is it Fafraha or somewhere they mentioned in Achimota also? So the opinion of the defense is that you must, as necessarily as a prosecution, tie a nexus between the amount of money being discussed at the time it was in the bank and at the time that these properties were bought. So if, for instance, you are investigating a 49 million matter which occurred in 2020 and properties had been acquired in 2017, and because you see that the properties are for the accused person, you say that, oh, he also has properties, but the properties were acquired before the 49 million scandal or whatever that you are investigating, then it doesn't really add up. Now, the defense opinion also is that those properties do not belong to Kwabena Dubois and his wife. That is a business they do. Kwabena Dubois and his wife have a platform where people give them money for them to build their houses for them. So those 27 houses are owned by 27 people, and Dubois' company is the platform that is aggregating that. The houses do not belong to him. And there are companies who do that. They have big land somewhere, they buy the land, they've had that land for 18 years, and then they say, yeah, we have land, so we are going to distribute the land. You pay us, we start building for you. Pay us, we build for you. We have a block making factory here. We have a stone quarry here. We have a da-da-da. So you just give us money, we build for you. That's the business that they do, and this is verifiable. So you have to connect, and then they say some cars. You have to connect the 49 million with some of these things at the minimum. And that's still not a basis to convict, I think. But at the minimum, you need to put that together before we move ahead, isn't it? All right. So that's what they're saying. It says that they are yet to verify Index 15 series, which connects the property acquisitions with the process of the so-called crime. The same points he's making. Now, let's look at the ICS letter, which we obtained from the lawyers. It's part of the court document, so we can show it to you. Do we have it in blue? Yes. It's attention to Samuel Atachina. It's June 3rd, 2025. It says, response to your mail dated 28, delivery of cybersecurity equipment to Ghana's national security and a defamatory statement of and concerning the transaction by the Attorney General. Okay. It says that, greetings from International So-and-so, an international security consultants firm incorporated under the law of Israel with headquarters in Israel. First, we take this opportunity to emphasize that our response to Mr. Kwabena Dubois during his duty as the Director General of the National Signals Bureau. Our company operates globally in the field of blah, blah, blah. Okay. Our consultants are seasoned professionals with da-da-da-da-da. Let's jump to the next paragraph. We are known for delivering confidential, cutting-edge security solutions, adapting tailor-made solutions for our clients, including third-party strategies, allies with the domain of cyber defense system. We certainly do not know what we are. We certainly do know what we are about as a company. We hereby declare, and for the avoidance of any doubt, that all cyber defense systems procured by the NSB, supplied under a confidential agreement signed on the 30th of January 2020 with an associated continuing service covenant, were fully delivered to Ghana's National Security Council, National Security. We remain available for any clarification or formal engagements your office may deem appropriate. And they said that they delivered it under, see what they called it, a confidential agreement. It suggests that Parliament may have to look at this agreement just in camera, because the national security have gone into a confidential agreement. So these are the matters on the update of Kwabena Dubois' situation. This one it says that we wish the best for Kwabena Dubois. However, please note that ICS did not have any business relations with Kwabena Dubois' wife. They said that ICS wishes all the best for Kwabena Dubois. Please note that ICS did not have any relationship with Mrs. Angela Eje Boateng. They didn't have any relationship. They don't know anything about her. So they did their work and delivered it. So this is what is happening right now. We are waiting to see what happens next and which kind of witnesses will be called. But as a result of the national security accounts of, I believe, 2020, which is part of the court process right now from the prosecution side, defense lawyers are urging themselves to also write to the court and ask for the national security accounts since 1992, operational accounts since 1992, so that we will have other people come and testify on how much money has been used to do this and that and that. And they worry because they say that will be putting national security on trial. This is the story of Kwabena Dubois so far. Happily, he's at home and he goes to his lawyers every now and then. I've seen him. He's a very good spirit. And he insists that he's innocent. He has not done anything wrong. He has not stolen anybody's money. The 27 houses they talk about is not his houses. He's a builder and he's building for people and etc. etc. Yes, he makes money from them, but that was before. They say he has some stolen cars. We're waiting for them to come and say how the cars were stolen and what happened to it, and then we can deal with it. But this is from the defense side. We don't know what the courts will do, as we always say. So we will wait to see what the courts will do. But I'm sure that justice will be served in the interest of the people of Ghana. Antoinette, do you have some messages on this one before we come to the final stages?
Someone is asking, in the case where the case turns out to be in the favor of the accused, what can the accused do to the prosecutor for defamation? Can he sue the prosecutor for defamation?
There's something in law called malicious prosecution. There's a process like that. It's called a malicious prosecution. So, but it's very difficult to establish something like that against a state. Maybe they will pardon you. Maybe they won't. But that's all I know. If you can get malicious prosecution, yes, you can get it.
All right, thank you, Paul. Now, Moses Echampon says, learned lawyer Atachia is not only a criminal lawyer, but also a sage man. Looking at the witness statement, it seems likely that the court is going to dismiss the charges against Edubuahen. And if it happens so, the AG should be made to resign for wasting taxpayers' money. Interesting. Kweku Bannerman says, so what the lawyer for the defense is doing, does he still stand by the tweet that he gave to Ghana Web? This is not helping Edubuahen at all. Now, lastly, David Kojo says, I really like what Paul does. He makes law very simple, even for my mom, Grace Aqua, who is 89 years at Latavia Koshi, to understand. Thank you so much, Paul. Now back to you, Paul. These are what we have.
One very harsh text from MPP Samuel Brian Boabe. He says that Apostle Paul, this country has had attorney generals and their deputies in the past, and they have never conducted themselves in this manner. Justice Sai's lack of public service experience is evident and perhaps explains the current disarray. Justice Sai has public service. He's a lecturer at the University of Ghana. That's public service, Brian, isn't it? By the time he realizes he is being used, it may be too late. He must learn to be measured in his approach, as positions are responsibility, not a personal entitlement. Well. Okay. Somebody send me a text. Oh, Mr. George. George, I'm very happy with your encouragement. I will keep it up. He wants me to keep it up. Okay. This one says, we need to sit over coffee in London one of these days. Hey, who is this? It says, we have come a long way, great footage. Somebody, is a number from London. Okay, all right. He knows himself. And I'm coming from Isha Palace. I'm Kumasi be 5. Who be some time and I'm Kumasi. About 5 hours I'm journey. Said, "Na me program inti na me journey." People are urging me. Oh, I need to. There was a poster today about a house that Kobe. I've sent it to you and see whether you can put it on. There's a poster today about a poster on social media by my friend Bobby Ansa. Bobby Ansa, and I panicked when I saw it. So Bobby Ansa had put up a house, a photograph of a house, and said this house was sold to Asante Bedietuo from a house belonging to Ministry of Finance, was sold to Asante Bedietuo, and it has now been retrieved, I guess, as part of oral. So I became quite worried. So I quickly sent a text to Bedietuo. I said, Chief, what is this? He said, Paul, it's not true. I said, it's not true. He said, it is. There's no iota of truth in it. I said, it's not true. Cry. It says 0. It's not true. I said, okay. At that time, that was about 9 o'clock in the morning. I said, okay, I'm going to Kumasi, so I'll come back in the evening. He said, do you have a show today? I said, I have a show today. He said, okay, I'm going to see whether I can get my lawyers to write also. Then he sent me the poster and they put fake on it. So, Bobby, please check some of these things. Bedietuo says it is. I mean, when I saw it, I doubted it. I really doubted it because I know Asante Bedietuo a little bit. Why is he going to buy a house that belongs to Ministry of Finance? That Minister of Finance is Ken Oforiatta. I knew that Bedietuo wouldn't do something like that. I knew that he wouldn't do that. I mean, I knew. So I sent it to him. He said, it's not true. Let's still see whether Bedietuo is right or Bobby is right. I mean, we must have something official from either the Ministry of Finance or the Ministry of Works and Housing or the Ministry of Lands. Maybe Bedietuo must write to the Ministry of Lands and Works and Housing. Now, please clarify that I, as Asante Bedietuo, I don't have any property. I didn't take any property from Ministry of Finance or any government agency when I was secretary to the president. Maybe you should find occasion to put that out quite nicely, and I'm sure it will work. 1 minute past the top of the hour, 11. Tomorrow we have a 7 a.m. Ask Kobe whether he has a photograph ready. If he has it ready, we'll just show it. We have a 7 a.m. tomorrow, so we have to be wrapping up. Oh, it's not ready. Okay. Antoine, give us some more messages. I need to show the video to one, please. Give us some few messages and then we'll be wrapping up.
Yalfredi says, from our education from the lawyer for Kwabena Edubuahen is that the former National Signal Bureau, the boss acted in the directives of his superiors and his subordinates are not privy to classified expenditures, even if they are involved in operations under his supervision. From his defense, his bosses are the ones to justify these actions and not his subordinates. Okay, well understood. Well, Momo, one person called Najibullah says Paul should try and talk more about the Boko conflict. It seems people are dying every day, but that has not been talked about before on this show. Paul Ato Addison is asking when we'll have a sit-down interview with Gabi Otredakom. Abna Gifty is asking that you throw an invitation to Raymond again to see whether or not he would honor the invite to come on the show. Go back to you.
We don't have it. Do we have it ready? I need to show it. It's just a poster. We don't. What should we spend the time by? Oh, people are asking about Tanko. Don't worry, it's going to come on social media. You know, these days we do. We come here in a night, produce and put. You know, we're doing Mr. Sansa Taylor, Sansa Delhi. We're doing Sansa Delhi. We do it in the night and put on social media. We still haven't even showed it on Metro TV. So yes, you see it on social media. It's coming, big one. Tomorrow night. Tomorrow is what? Saturday? Oh, tomorrow is Friday. Yeah. So tomorrow night we'll record it over here, work on it. Maybe Sunday morning or Monday morning it will be out. And often it's quite nice that way, isn't it? What's happening this weekend? Saturday I will be out of Accra again, doing some work. I believe in the Eastern region, somewhere there. Sunday I'll be in Accra. And Monday, there's another conversation we're going to put on social media. Radio stations banned and radio stations on and off. It's ready. Okay, let's put it up. So at least we have a record of it. Let's put it up. Yeah, there it is. So that's the poster by Bobier is in the first two photographs, and his the thing he said is in the third photograph. The poster is a house, some house, story building, nice looking house. And he said that this is a house that Asante Bedieto bought from Ministry of Finance, and it has now been seized, and it is back in the hands of the state. And Asante Bedieto says it is completely false. Nothing further from the truth. It is absolutely and palpably false. We're not going to leave it there. Let's see what happens. Maybe the Ministry of Works and Housing should come and clarify, because we all believe that justice must be served in the interest of the people of Ghana. That's it for Good Evening Ghana tonight. We'll be on social media at the weekend and back live in the studio on Tuesday.
J. Watch na learning. Missy, watch and learn. Mekwaya mabesisia. Abozege. Akachese no ya konate and the more drink woman. Hey. But I didn't mean. Oh, sorry. She knew her old days. Eji. Dabio, baby wom. Ready? Hey, baby wom. Ah, Eji. I'll cause some discomfort. Ah. Sorry, well, uncle, where would the dad? Why your funeral? At to phone for Aerofield Trading. Sorry, it killed them all.
No mum share nanda danya was mosquito call is to do woman. Na say spray with them musa. Chaisima a dronum and sana ko dynamo.
And Kratoi FDA Ajatum.